Hey guys, it's Sam, and these are books I would recommend to my enemy, aka books I hate. These are books that most of you are probably gonna know if you've been following me for any length of time. Also, it's not every book that I've rated 1 star, because some of the books I've rated 1 star I've just forgotten about because they were so bad that my brain dumped that information. Most of these are ones that I still have visceral memories of. Now, I'm not gonna go into descriptions of all of these books or like reviews of all of these books. Again, most of these are fairly popular that a lot of you will know them, but also I'm just going to describe to you why I'm giving this to my enemy, because in my head, this enemy that I've conceptualized is someone that might actually really like these books, right? So I'm torn between like, if they're my enemy, we're so different that they would love this, but also giving them this as a kind of revenge against them for whatever perceived slight in my head my enemy and I have like fought over. So yeah, just know that all these books are bad in my opinion. And if you feel the need to be like, I love that book, I literally don't care. I hate that we have to do these disclaimers. I don't care if you loved it. That doesn't make you my enemy. I don't care if you had a different experience. I truly don't. This is just how I had an experience with these books, and I truly believe that they are awful. So if you think one of your faves might be in here and you're gonna get your feelings hurt, don't. Start off strong. Beautiful Disaster by Jamie Maguire. I would give my enemy this because again, they would probably like it. They probably like horribly written, sort of abuse apologist narratives. Maybe they're a really big Colleen Hoover fan. Starting out hot. Don't get mad. I didn't put any Colleen Hoover books on here because I haven't read enough Colleen Hoover books. I truly think Beautiful Disaster is probably worse than Colleen Hoover. Again, it's incredibly dated. I would also give them the really ugly cover. I will put that on the screen for you guys to see about, I think this is probably when it was self-published. I'm not sure. I don't know why they chose this cover for the first cover. It's bad. So I'd give them the ugly cover and tell them it was a great romance. So good. It's not, it's awful. Poorly written. He's an incredibly abusive person. The fact that there's multiple books in this series is nauseating. Also, the author is apparently a big racist. So, bad things all around. Then, I will also have them read The Bronze Horseman. This is in no particular order, by the way. But then The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons. You guys know that'll be on that. Beautiful Disaster and The Bronze Horseman are my 2 least favorite books of all time. So those were gonna be up front from the get-go. But 1, this is incredibly dense. So definitely be like, read this to calm down. Read this as a soothing book. No, it's incredibly dense. Again, another really abusive love story. And there's 3 books to this. I only read the first one because I am not a masochist. But it's incredibly abusive. Even for the time period, people will frequently be like, oh, it's during World War, I think 1 or 2, I forget which one. I don't care. He's abusive either way. But again, a lot of people really love this. Maybe my enemy will as well. Then, after that dense beast, The Selection by Kira Cass. Again, I've only read the first book. But just filler fluff and bad filler fluff. Toxic cotton candy. There's nothing there, there's no substance, but it will also give you a bacterial infection. It's so poorly written. I get a lot of people read it because they're like, it's mindless and whatever. Yes, but at what cost? She describes the love interest's scent at one point as smelling like chemicals. Not because he does anything, he's literally like a prince or something. Like, why does he smell like chemicals, bestie? And the main character is the most like insufferable, unobservant, self-centered, vapid, just no 2 brain cells up here fighting. It's a lot. So I hope they read the whole series in the spin-offs. Then another series, this is especially good if they really loved The Hunger Games. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Will I watch this movie when it comes out? Maybe, because a lot of good actors are in it, but it will be against my will, especially if they love The Hunger Games, because this undoes so much stuff that's good about The Hunger Games. It just takes everything and just crashes it. Yes, we're following a villain. We all know that we're following a villain, but do we really need to hear him say that, you know, cabbage smells like poor people? It's just being able to smell people's poverty. I don't want to be in that man's head. All the directions you could have gone in and you chose that. So I hope that they really love The Hunger Games and I'm like, oh my god, this is like a continuation, and they read it and they, you know, cry. Then I have them read The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, and like, just because it is post-Twilight era romance, like definitely. Like you can definitely tell this was in like the Twilight era, like a response, you know? And it's bad. I would argue that like the tension in Twilight is maybe better. I don't know, I haven't read Twilight since I was a teenager. But so bad. Complete lack of world building. Everything is told to the main character in like a monologue from someone else, and nothing of substance here. It's bad. And again, apparently people say it gets better. One, don't believe you, and two, don't care. The only reason I even got through this book is because we were reading it for book club this year. This is a more recent one, which is why I'm a little more angry about this one. Not angry at any of you, just the fact that this book exists and that I read it. So yeah, I would want them to suffer with this because I kept suffering with it, hoping it would get better, and then it didn't. Another book that I went into with high hopes, Scarlet by A.C. Gowan. It's a really bad YA book. It's the first book in a series. And this is another one that has like really abusive dynamics. Like I think both men, or at least one, they're boys, they're teenagers, whatever. I think both men like cause her physical damage or something. I don't remember a lot of this, it's been a while, I kind of like dumped this one brain-wise, but it's bad, and so many people loved it when I first got on BookTube, and so many people that were bloggers really recommended this highly, and it's bad. It's really bad. This is also that like post-Twilight love triangle thing going on, which is just not typically very well done. And finally, sprinkle in a little romance. Actually, let's do two for this. So the first will be Someday in Paris, and this is a romance, advertised as romance, that does not have a happily ever after. So I hate it. There's all this tension, you know, all this stuff, and for nothing. And I would like my enemy to have that happen to them as well. To not have any fulfillment, not have any resolution, not have any happy feelings, not have any culmination to the angst, just to be left disappointed. And finally, I would recommend them to do something specific, to read Receiver of Many, but in a car with their family on audio, because this is an erotica. I haven't read other erotica that I can recommend. Like I would also say like, to embarrass them again, maybe like Ice Planet, which I think Ice Planet Barbarians is actually better written than this is. So yeah, I would say that. Or like a Kitty Roberts or something, but again, I haven't read any of those. I don't know if I like them or not. This I know I don't like, and it's erotica, and it's a lot of erotica, so I would like them to do that in that setting. Maybe on the subway, thinking that they have headphones in and everyone can actually hear it. Something like that. Not because reading erotica is shameful, but because people probably, like, it would probably be embarrassing to like have everyone know that you're listening to that, especially if it was like family, again, in the car on a road trip. So that's what I would recommend them to do. Have everyone know their business, you know? So yeah, that's a little review of some of my least favorite books for those of you that may have forgotten or were interested. Generally speaking, as you guys know, I tend to not really talk about my least favorite books that much anymore because I forget about them now. I'm reading so much good shit these days that like the bad books are so few and far between that I no longer really care about them. But when they do happen, I will tell you about them. Don't you worry. So comment down below, let me know what books you'd recommend to your enemy. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.